Ark Angel. Chapter 1. Teenage Spy on a Mission. Alex Ryder, barely 17, stood on the windswept helipad of MI6 headquarters. London, shrouded in its characteristic gray mist, sprawled below him like a slumbering beast. He adjusted the collar of his tailored suit, a gift from the agency that marked his transition from teenage recruit to full-fledged operative. But as the helicopter blades whirred to life, churning the air into a miniature vortex, his thoughts were not on the city or his newly acquired status. They were focused on the cryptic message that had arrived earlier that morning, delivered in the usual anonymous fashion. A plain white envelope slipped beneath his door. "Hotel Ark Angel," he murmured, the words echoing the ominous tone of the message. "Grand opening. All eyes on you." It was a summons, a call to action that Alex understood implicitly. But this time, there was an undercurrent of unease that he couldn't shake off. The mission was shrouded in secrecy, even more so than usual, and the sparse details he had been given hinted at a conspiracy far more sinister than anything he had encountered before. The helicopter ascended, piercing the cloud cover and leaving London behind. Alex leaned back in his seat, allowing the rhythmic thump of the rotors to lull him into a state of focused contemplation. He ran through the sparse information he had been given about Hotel Ark Angel, an ambitious space tourism project spearheaded by billionaire entrepreneur Damien Cray. Cray was a visionary, a man known for his audacious plans and relentless pursuit of innovation. But MI6 had received intelligence suggesting that Cray's latest venture was not just a commercial enterprise. It was a potential weapon, a platform for a global threat of unimaginable magnitude. Alex's thoughts drifted to his last mission, a harrowing ordeal that had tested his limits and left him questioning his place in the shadowy world of espionage. He had been betrayed, used as a pawn in a deadly game of power and deceit. The experience had hardened him, sharpened his instincts, but it had also left him with a lingering sense of vulnerability. He knew that in this line of work, trust was a luxury he couldn't afford. Yet he couldn't help but wonder who, if anyone, he could truly rely on. The helicopter descended, breaking Alex's reverie. Through the window he could see the vast expanse of the North Sea, its surface shimmering in the afternoon sun. A colossal structure rose from the waves, its gleaming metallic facade reflecting the light like a beacon of technological prowess. It was Hotel Ark Angel, a testament to human ingenuity and ambition. But as Alex gazed at it, he couldn't help but feel a shiver of apprehension. He knew that behind its opulent exterior, a darkness lurked, a threat that could shatter the illusion of paradise. The helicopter landed on a platform that extended from the hotel's side. Alex disembarked, his senses on high alert. He was greeted by a team of MI6 agents, their faces grim and determined. They briefed him on the latest developments, their voices hushed and urgent. The situation was deteriorating rapidly, and time was running out. Alex nodded, absorbing the information with practiced ease. He had been expecting this. The stakes were always high, the danger ever present. But this time it felt different. This time it was personal. The betrayal he had suffered had left a wound, a scar that reminded him of the fragility of trust. He would not be fooled again. He would not be used. As he stepped into the hotel's grand lobby, Alex's resolve hardened. He was prepared for the challenges that lay ahead, the tests of loyalty and the perils of deception. He was Alex Ryder, teenage spy, and he would not rest until the truth was revealed and justice was served. The mission had begun, and the countdown to disaster had already started. Chapter 2. Billionaire's Space Hotel. The briefing room, a sterile space bathed in the cold glow of fluorescent lights, hummed with an undercurrent of tension. Alex stood at attention, his gaze fixed on the holographic display that dominated the room. It showcased Hotel Ark Angel in all its technological splendor, a marvel of engineering that defied the laws of gravity and human imagination. But as the MI6 tech officer, a wiry man with a perpetually furrowed brow, delved into the details of the project, Alex's attention was drawn to the portrait that hung beside the display. It was a photograph of Nikolai Drevin, the billionaire mastermind behind Ark Angel. Drevin's face, etched with lines of ambition and ruthlessness, stared back at Alex with an intensity that sent a shiver down his spine. The man was an enigma, a self-made titan who had risen from obscurity to become one of the most powerful figures in the world. His wealth was staggering, his influence far-reaching, and his ambition, it seemed, knew no bounds. "Drevin is a visionary," the tech officer continued, his voice a monotone drone that did little to mask the underlying concern. "He sees Ark Angel as more than just a space hotel. It's a symbol of human progress, a testament to our ability to conquer the final frontier." Alex listened intently, his mind racing to connect the dots. He had done his research on Drevin, scouring the internet for any scrap of information that could shed light on the man's motivations. He had learned of Drevin's meteoric rise to power, his ruthless business tactics, and his penchant for secrecy. But the official reports, carefully curated and sanitized, offered no insight into the darkness that MI6 suspected lurked beneath the surface. "We believe that Drevin is harboring a secret," the tech officer revealed, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "Something far more sinister than a space hotel. Our intelligence suggests that he is developing a weapon, a technology capable of causing widespread devastation." Alex's heart pounded in his chest. This was it, the confirmation of his worst fears. Ark Angel was not just a vanity project, a playground for the ultra-rich. It was a potential instrument of global catastrophe. But what kind of weapon could Drevin be developing? And why? These were the questions that plagued Alex's mind. Questions that he knew he would have to answer if he wanted to prevent a disaster. The briefing continued, delving into the technical specifications of Ark Angel, the intricate details of its construction, and the cutting-edge technology that powered it. But Alex's focus remained on Drevin. He studied the man's portrait, searching for any clue, any hint of the evil that MI6 believed he harbored. "Drevin is a master manipulator," the tech officer warned. "He is surrounded by loyalists, people who would do anything for him. He is also a skilled liar, a man who can charm and deceive with equal ease. You will need to be careful, Alex. Trust no one and question everything." Alex nodded, his resolve hardening. He knew the risks, the dangers that awaited him in this high-stakes game of espionage. But he also knew his duty, his responsibility to protect the innocent and prevent a global catastrophe. He would not be deterred, not by Drevin's wealth, his influence, or his web of deceit. He would uncover the truth, no matter the cost. The briefing concluded and Alex was dismissed. He left the room, his mind abuzz with questions and his heart heavy with the weight of his mission. As he walked down the corridor, he glanced back at Drevin's portrait. The man's eyes seemed to follow him, a silent challenge, a warning. Alex met his gaze, a flicker of defiance in his own eyes. The game was on, and he was ready to play. Chapter 3. The Inner Circle. Infiltrating the Drevin family proved easier than Alex had anticipated. It turned out that Nikolai Drevin's son, Paul, was a student at the prestigious Eton College, where Alex had been temporarily enrolled under a carefully crafted alias. Paul, a lanky teenager with a mop of unruly brown hair and a perpetually inquisitive expression, was an outsider among the Eton elite. He shunned the traditional pursuits of his peers, preferring the solitude of his dorm room where he spent hours tinkering with gadgets and delving into the intricacies of code. Alex, with his MI6 training in social engineering, found it effortless to forge a bond with Paul. They shared a passion for technology, a mutual fascination with the world of espionage, and a growing disdain for the stuffy traditions and rigid social hierarchies that governed their lives at Eton. During their late-night conversations, fueled by smuggled energy drinks and a shared sense of rebelliousness, Alex carefully steered the topic towards Ark Angel. Paul's eyes lit up with a mixture of pride and apprehension as he spoke about his father's ambitious project. He admitted to having reservations about the ethical implications of space tourism, but he couldn't deny the allure of the technological marvel that his father was creating. "It's not just a hotel, Alex," Paul confided one night, his voice hushed as if afraid of being overheard. "It's a stepping stone to something greater, a new era of human exploration and discovery. But there's a darkness surrounding it, a sense of unease that I can't shake off. My father is a man of secrets, and I fear that he's hiding something that could have dire consequences." Alex listened intently, his mind racing to process this new information. Paul's words confirmed his suspicions, but they also presented a moral dilemma. Was it right to exploit his friendship with Paul to gain access to Drevin's inner circle? Was it fair to use this vulnerable teenager as a pawn in his mission? Yet Alex knew that the stakes were too high to ignore this opportunity. He had a duty to uncover the truth, to prevent a potential catastrophe. And Paul, whether he realized it or not, held the key to unlocking the secrets of Ark Angel. As the days turned into weeks, Alex's bond with Paul deepened. They spent countless hours together, exploring the sprawling grounds of Eton, hacking into the school's security system for a harmless prank, and discussing their hopes and dreams for the future. But beneath the camaraderie, Alex never lost sight of his mission. He subtly probed Paul for information, gleaning valuable insights into Dreven's personality, his business dealings, and his vision for Ark Angel. One evening, as they sat on a bench overlooking the River Thames, Paul confided in Alex about a secret project that his father was working on. It was a highly classified venture, known only to a select few within Dreven's inner circle. Paul had overheard snippets of conversations, cryptic references to a weapon of unimaginable power. Alex's heart skipped a beat. This was it, the breakthrough he had been waiting for. He pressed Paul for more details, but the teenager was reluctant to divulge any further information. He feared for his father's safety, for the repercussions that his revelations could have. Alex understood Paul's hesitation, but he also knew that he couldn't let this opportunity slip away. He had to convince Paul to trust him, to see him as an ally in this fight against a common enemy. With a mixture of empathy and persuasion, Alex appealed to Paul's sense of justice, his desire to do what was right. After a long and agonizing silence, Paul finally relented. He agreed to help Alex, to share the information he had gathered, and to act as his eyes and ears within Dreven's inner circle. It was a turning point in their relationship, a moment of shared trust and a pact of loyalty. Alex knew that he had crossed a line, that he had used Paul for his own ends. But he also knew that he had gained an invaluable ally, a friend who would prove instrumental in his mission to expose the truth and prevent a global disaster.